This episode of the Lifted to Life by Dana B podcast is brought to you by NeuroGum. Hello, you are listening to the Lifted to Life by Dana B podcast. I am Dana B. I thank you for listening. This podcast is not just about self-care, it's about discovering your authentic self. So before I begin today's episode, I want to thank everyone for listening. Thank you for your emails, reviews, and especially your words of thanks and encouragement. I really do appreciate it. Today's episode is titled Setting Boundaries, When Saying No is Necessary. So what does setting boundaries mean? Setting boundaries means establishing personal limits and rules in relationships and interactions, defining what behaviors are acceptable or unacceptable. So before we can set boundaries, there are things that we have to identify. What areas in your life are most chaotic? Is your work life chaotic? Is your home life chaotic? Is it in your immediate family? Is the chaos in your life keeping you from focusing on your passion? So how much time do you commit to the chaos in your life? More importantly, how much time do you commit to your passion? Setting boundaries is not just saying no. It's also letting people know that you don't have the capacity or the bandwidth to take on another task or any crisis. Under this new administration and the actions of the Doge team, a huge part of my coworkers and personnel within my department, they took the deferred resignation. So because of this, my workload has increased 20 times over. And I have a lot more on my plate when it comes to my workload. So my customers, they call me asking questions about when is this particular project or modification going to be taken care of? How long is it going to take me to complete an award of a contract or a task order? And here is where I set the boundary. So in response to that customer with that email of when is a certain activity going to get done? How long is it going to take? I simply send them an email. And in that email, I set the boundary. I kindly tell them and I ask them to be patient and show grace because, as they already know, our department has suffered a loss of a number of personnel throughout the agency. I'm working on a number of actions. And normally their response is, I understand. And then they thank me for the hard work because they know that my office is busy and to let them know if I need anything from them. Setting the boundary. Setting a boundary is not always responding in a defensive or negative way. I keep my relationships at work professional, strong with trust and respect. I was a facilitator in Remarkable Women for 2 years. And it was truly a fulfilling moment for me, especially when it came to helping women discover their authentic self. Although the mission was helping women in all areas and all ages and stages of their life, but after that second year, I decided that I did not want to go into this another year. I was completely drained. When you're sitting amongst women, actively listening to the stories that they share, it's draining. It was truly draining. They had asked me to come back for a third year, and I said no. I told them I cannot be a blessing to anyone or anybody when I was empty. I could not pour into anyone. I was empty. I needed to be replenished. I needed to decompress. I needed to be full again. I needed a break. So saying no to that third year facilitation was necessary for me to sit down and be still. So for many of you, it's hard to set boundaries because you are afraid to tell someone no. You are afraid that you may hurt someone's feelings. You're afraid that it will make you feel guilty. But saying no is a relief. Saying no is basically a release. You don't have to say yes to everything. Let me tell you, it's okay to say no. No is truly a complete sentence. Some of us have never said no to anyone before. You felt obligated to say yes to everything, even when you wanted to say no. Lending money to someone you know who owes you from the last time, asking to pay a bill, including leaving a tip when you're out with friends, dining. How many of times have you had to foot the bill after the fifth time? You are always the driver when going on a road trip. At work, you're always voluntold to join a committee instead of having them choose someone else, especially when you know that your workload has you underwater. You're being voluntold to coordinate an event when you don't have the bandwidth or the energy to do so because you already got a lot going on in your work life and your home life. You co-signed on a loan for a family member or a friend, knowing damn well they are not consistent with paying on time. Now your credit is effed up because you didn't say no. Your colleague is going to be out of the office for a couple days and has asked you to write the data call report from the morning meeting, and you know that you already have a ton of work to do. Tell them no. Despite them begging you, tell them no. You don't have the capacity, nor do you have the bandwidth to do the job. Sometimes you got to be creative with your no's. Sometimes you simply have to say, hell no, or well no, for those Christian folks. Setting boundaries helps to identify the limits in your relationships, communicating them clearly and consistently, and enforcing them. When a person knows that they can cross the line with you, that means they take full advantage of that. I have a friend who is involved in everything. She's president of her Greek letter organization. She's vice president of her homeowners association. She works for a very large corporation. She's a wife and a mother of 2 children. She is pulled in so many different directions. She's on call for her job. She barely has time for herself. She barely has time for her kids. She barely has time for her husband. The only time she gets the rest is when she falls asleep. She has not learned how to set boundaries. Her kids are constantly asking for mommy time. Her husband jokingly says, "So, do I need to schedule some time with you?" I don't see it as a joke. I've told her on a number of occasions that she needs to learn to set boundaries, especially if she wants to keep the fire burning in her marriage. You ever hit that 2 p.m., 3 p.m. slump when you're in the office and you need something that's going to give you a boost to push you to the end of the workday? You don't want to get a soda and you don't want to get chocolate. Well, for me, I reached for NeuroGum. NeuroGum has 100 milligrams of natural caffeine and brain-supporting B vitamins for maximum energy and focus. You can find the link to purchase in the show's bio. So what do you need to set boundaries in your life? Here is a detailed breakdown that I want you to follow. First, identify your boundaries. Reflect on your needs. Consider situations where you feel drained, resentful, or uncomfortable. These can indicate areas where boundaries are needed. For me, it's my work life. I already am faced with a number of projects and actions that I need to take care of. And so I've learned that specifically one action at a time, not 5 at a time, one at a time. Name your limits. Determine what you're willing to accept and what you won't tolerate. Be specific about your needs and expectations. Number 2, communicate your boundaries. Be clear and direct. State your boundaries in a calm, firm, and straightforward manner. Like me at work, emailing my customers to let them know, listen, you already know of the deferred resignation that so many of our colleagues took. Understand that my workload has increased tremendously. I ask you for your patience as I work through these actions. Use I statements. It's not being selfish. Focus on your feelings and needs rather than blaming the other person. For example, instead of saying, you always interrupt me, try, I feel disrespected when I'm interrupted. Keep it simple. Don't over explain or apologize. A simple no, thank you can be enough. That's it. Just keep it simple. You don't owe anybody an explanation of your no. There shouldn't be a no because no, no, thank you. You don't owe anyone an explanation for this no. Be consistent. Reinforce your boundaries by consistently communicating and upholding them. Number 3, enforce your boundaries. Consequences. Establish what will happen if your boundaries are crossed. This could be ending a conversation, limiting contact, or taking other appropriate actions. Sometimes you just simply have to walk away from the situation. That's it. Be firm. Don't back down or apologize for enforcing your boundaries. Be firm. Don't back down or apologize for enforcing your boundaries. Practice saying no. Listen, if you got to stand in a mirror and say no and practice it while practicing, then do it. This is a crucial skill for maintaining boundaries. Seek support. If you're struggling to set or enforce boundaries, talk to a trusted friend, a therapist, or a counselor. 4, here are several specific examples. Physical boundaries, requesting personal space, specifying acceptable physical touch, or asking others to respect your belongings. Emotional boundaries, protecting your emotional space, limiting exposure to negativity, or not taking on other people's problems. Oh boy, I will tell you, for one, I hate when negative people bring their negative energy in my space. I had this one coworker that I had to stop talking to because every time I talked to her, it was always, oh, I just don't, it's all, she reminded me of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. And every time I left her, all of that negative energy was on me and I hated it. I had to stop talking to her. I had to stop talking to her. I could not take it. I finally found out that her kids were always gone. They didn't even want to be around her because of the negativity that she kept exuding. Time boundaries, establishing work hours, declining requests that infringe on your personal time, or prioritizing self-care activity. Listen, take the days off. You have PTO for a reason. You have sick leave for a reason. Take the vacation. Take the vacation. Put your time in, your request in to your leadership, your supervisor, your director, and take the time off, please. You're no good to anyone drained and depleted. When it's time to log off from your work laptop, or when it's time to clock out on time. And once your feet cross the threshold of that building and it crosses the threshold of your home, don't you think about that job. Don't think about that job. Material boundaries, setting limits on sharing possessions or finances. If you can't co-sign, don't do it. And if you don't have the money to lend, don't do it. Digital boundaries, managing your time on social media or limiting access to your personal information. Now, that's one thing I definitely have to take more into consideration, limiting my time on social media. And I've taken the app off my home screen, but yet there's a way for me to get to it. So there are times where I fast from social media. I may fast from social media for a week. Heck, I fasted from social media for 40 days. And especially when you do that, you get a clearer mind. You get a clearer mind because you're not pulled into the news reels of the day. You're not pulled into the celebrity gossiping of the day. You're not pulled into the Diddy trial that's happening. So I have to limit my social media activity. It's good for my mental health. So as you set boundaries, I want you to identify the areas in your life that are chaotic. Is it your home life? Is it your work life? Is it your immediate family? And then I want you to focus on your passion this week. Whatever that passion is, if it's you writing your book, if it's you doing your podcast, if it's you knitting, crocheting, reading, community service, focus on those things this week. And then begin to set boundaries in your life. Remember, no is a complete sentence. So before I end today's episode, I want to read an excerpt from Journey to the Heart by Melody Beattie. It's titled Restore Your Natural Balance. Seek healing, a refilling of energy and spirit as soon as you see that you need it. You don't have to push yourself to give, do, or perform when what your body, mind, soul, and emotion need is to heal. Seek and support your natural balance. Listen to your body, listen to your soul, and both will tell you what they need and when. If you aren't certain what you need, ask. Ask your body what you need. Ask your heart what to do next. Ask God and the universe to help. Find the balance that's right for you. Become sensitive to your needs. When you become stressed, depleted, out of sync, in need of healing, seek help immediately. Nurture and care for yourself until you're in balance once again. Inhale, receive, exhale, give back. Your natural balance is as necessary as breathing. The inhaling is the breathing of life's energy. The exhaling is the sharing of your resources. You wouldn't expect to exhale if you hadn't inhaled. So it goes with healing, with our life force, with our energy. You cannot give it out if you don't take it in. Find the balance of receiving and giving, of the taking in of energy and the giving out of energy that works for you. Let the balance become natural. See how much more you do and are. See how much better you feel when you keep your life force vital. I thank you for listening to today's episode. Set those boundaries. Remember to like, review, and share this episode. Email me at liftedtolife@gmail.com. Take care, and I'll see you next time.